Yes, as you can see, once again, we've been doing a little bit of cheating with some creative, but we've made some massive progress and massive things. I've got so much I want to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, for any of you that don't know, this is a passive mob farm, and basically how it works is the mobs spawn up top on this grass bit in a plains biome, or I think it works in the hilly biomes as well, but it has to be somewhere where pigs, cows, and sheep can all spawn together. They fall through the trapdoors because they're stupid. For some reason, structure books don't turn trapdoors properly, which is why they're all facing in weird ways, but hopefully when I actually build this thing in the world, it will look alright, because I'm not going to use structure blocks. I mean, I don't know why I would even say that. Yes, so it's very easy, very simple to use, and it isn't mightily resourceful. You just need lots of kind of 1 or 2 blocks, so there's not like differentiation. That's what I mean by resourceful. It's not a lot of redstone, it is actually all just relying on game physics, which is kind of cool. And kind of how this works is it's chunk aligned, which means it has a 4x4 kind of chunk layout, and each corner is a chunk by itself, and these are the actual coordinates in the actual Sh4d0wCRAFT world, so we'll be able to copy it over there fairly easily. But welcome back. It's been an absolute while, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first up, obviously last time I did a project where I kind of did this massive thing with this gargantuan stature. Check out the video, it's amazing. It took ages, but it's worth it, by the way. And we're going big or go home today as well, because although we're not specifically working on that, there is another large project that I've had in mind for ages, pretty much since the start of the world, and I want to get started on this day, which is kind of weird since I've had it planned for the start of the world, but I'm now doing it now. So, yeah. Now, something else rather large appearing in videos from last year, and a lot of this year, is something that's going on at the moment, which is, of course, farms. And I've finally built a wall where I can put up all the icons and tick them off. So I know which ones I've actually done. I've got an actual book and list where I've written everything down, but it's just easier doing it this way, and it's more visually pleasing. And more time and resources. Yeah, honestly, it took ages to get the amount of glowstone I need. I literally had no glowstone at all, so it was a bit of a fucking pain. I died quite a lot as well, so that wasn't great. So my levels are quite low, 33, yeah, I would say is low. But basically how this is going to work is we're going to do 5 at once, or 3 in this case, because if you do this one down here and then flick this one, it actually only shows 6 rather than 10, as you can see if you do it in a certain way, which is why we're going to group 3 together like we have done in previous videos. Now, if there's videos where I do one big farm and then none others, then obviously I won't be able to tick it off until I've done the other 2, so I'll do them in groups. I do also need to think of a better way out, because I do have to just kind of like awkwardly cram myself through this hole. And of course, this is where the starship is, because we're inside the barn. Yeah, I've finally made use for it. But basically what we're going to do now in the next couple of minutes is essentially fill this wall up with icons for the different farms I'm going to be building. Now, some may overlap, which is why I'm going to name some of them on an anvil as well, just so we don't get confused. And I'm also going to try to figure out a different way to light them as well, because I have a theory. And if anyone was wanting to build that barn, they actually did a tutorial on it. I'll leave a link in the description for you. So, actually grabbing stuff on a thematic note, I have to start a farm to build the farms list, because I don't have any leather. It's insane how much leather I need for this, because for the item frames. So we're going to start up a cow farm, and I've also found this little ship here, which I don't find often many of these. The ships on land, shipwrecks underwater, kind of quite common. I don't know how rare these are. I don't believe there's any treasure here though, which is kind of awful and annoying. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I could revisit this place, turn it into something, not sure. Kind of cool little spot. I'm definitely going to save the coordinates though. But yes, getting back to the point of things, we're setting up a leather farm with cowses. Cowses is. Anyway, yes, leather, cows, milk, other things. We're going to go ahead on this. Hindsight, this may be actual hell, and it's gonna be worth it though. It's gonna be worth it. So if I just leave these guys up here, obviously we're gonna kill the sheep because I don't really need them. This is gonna be only cows, and with a couple additions and a ruined nether portal, which I completely missed, we're now all set and ready to go. Now, the essential idea is to build up loads and loads and loads of cows and then basically go on a mad, murderous psychopathic killing spree and just obtain all my leather. Also, you may notice there's something going on with skins, and I will probably get to that later. So it's been a couple hours, and the only problem is that I'm seeing is that cows, they have like a break. They have, I guess, like a cooldown, like a gun in like Battlefront and Fortnite and things like that. Cows and most mobs in the game, they have a cooldown period in between when they can start doing the stuff and bees and parrots and birds and bats things. And yeah, they have like a cooldown in between before they can go at it again. So there is a bit of delay, but we're building up. Obviously, the more that I build up, I can just build up and build up and build up and more. And then obviously grow up the babbies and make them breed too. That sounds really bad. Or I can just wait 20 minutes for them to grow up. I'm just killing some now so we have all the babbies together, and 2 sort of adult cows, that way we can just make more. I've kind of got like an efficient way of doing this now, so I'll see you in another couple days / hours. So, after about a real day, we've come over to said wheat farm.
2,000 years later.
And by about another day and a half, this is where we are at currently. Not quite at the slaughterhouse yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Right, this is starting to look good. This is about another day's worth of cooldown and babies growing up and feeding the babies and breeding and things like that. Give me them sweet green balls. Give me that XP. I guess 2 other things I haven't quite addressed is the sheer sound of this, which is nauseating at best. Best way to describe it. They are so loud, not just from their mouths. The way that they stomp around is madness. I have the volume on low and it still hurts. Also, I've named this Death Rock because this is where I'm going to jump down and slaughter them from these lands. Cow madness! Yep, so we're pretty much there at that point now. Yeah!
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the slaughterhouse! Let us begin.
It's gonna take a little break, and I'll be back to the slaughter in a minute. And with the last couple finally down and dealt with, especially that llama there as well, we're pretty much all set. I've got just about as much as leather as I need, and I'm not going to kill kids. So we're going to leave all the babies here to flourish and thrive. Or despawn. And now we just need to bang some wood, jack some lumber, chop some trees down, get your mind out the gutter. And as you may see, we've switched over to Alex. Now, I do actually prefer the Alex skin over Steve, and I don't know why. I do just like the Alex skin more, in a way. But yeah, we're over here at the tree farm, just, as I said, jacking some lumber, banging some wood, chopping trees down. And it's going pretty well. I have to break leaves every now and then. It's a bit slow, but we'll get there eventually. I don't need as much wood, but the item frame crafting is mad in terms of the amount of wood you need for an item frame. 2 logs for an item frame. I get that, because there needs to be wood on the back, but still 2 logs. It's stupendous. But now, with many things collected and many hours of hell and pain, we can now finally craft our item frames for the only first thing we're doing in the entirety of said episode. So, yeah. I never really formally introduced. I think this is episode 73. I'm not entirely sure. Could be, could not be. So I guess we'll just slappity schlickety schlock them on. All over. Covering the whole surface. And there we go. Perfecto. Finally, satisfaction. Yes, I've also still got to get all the icons. So, yay, more pain and hard work. Whoa! I will say, though, this is pretty ominous from the way, like, the dark fades upwards and where you're standing from. I bet this would look great as a thumbnail. Or in spec, maybe. And once again, we've just got to go ahead and fill this whole thing up. Also, don't ask me how I got this stuff. The pain that I had to go through to get some of this, just... don't ask. It's... unbearable. Like... stupidly unbearable. Not kind of this stuff here, but some of the other stuff I had to gather for the icons. It's stupendous. And obviously, by filling each one in, we just have to go and flick these. And again, I've done them in groups of 3 that I've done them in already, so this should work out okay. Now, I've done a tiny bit more experimenting, and I am an idiot. So as it turns out, you may see on the bottom that only these ones are lined up. Turns out that with redstone blocks, you can actually just light up one redstone lamp, which I, for some reason, haven't known about at all until now, which, again, is idiotic. This is really cool. This is really cool, and it's going to be really, really helpful for redstone contraptions in the future. Yeah, but it's going to help a lot with this, because it means I can mark off an exact one now, instead of just, like, 3 at once. Yes! And finally it is done. It looks so ominous as well. Yeah, this isn't even all like the stuff. Now, in terms of stuff I got done today, an ice farm is definitely up there, as well as probably some leather farms too. Just because I have something in mind, like I said, mini projects, well, quite a big project actually, since the start of the world. I'm also going to be upgrading sugarcane, which is going to go towards this too. The ice farm isn't entirely related, but I thought I might just get it done because, yeah, the passive mob farm also needs to get done actually, yeah. But the ice farm, although completely unrelated, the conversion rate to blue ice is fascinating at best. I will give an example in a second. But in terms of leather, we're also going to be building a rabbit farm as well as possibly a llama farm, which you can farm leather from both of them too, as well as obviously the traditional cows. So I best think we get to work. Also, as you can see, yes, I have anviled some of them to give them names, because some icons will overlap with others if not named properly. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck am I doing here? Well, cool yourself down, chill out, because here there's more than meets the ice. The pun potential is unlimited. But if we slide away over here... Now, as some of you may know, I started flattening this out a while ago, for a quite easily guessable farm. So we're going to go in, get this all flattened out as best we can, and then just immediately get building, because I want this done. And so, with some hours of pain and torture, and extreme torment, and continually wanting to stop, and another top up of my many glowing green juicy balls. All done. Oh look, my shovel's fixed as well.
Back to the flattening.
Yes, we're about this much done, a lot more to go, and I'm probably going to pick up on this tomorrow. This is going to take forever. And finally, my god, you would not believe your ice. It's finally done. God, this took freaking ages, and I'm never going to do this again. To be honest, I might.
No!
It was pain and torment, but it was necessary.
No!
So there's a likelihood that this is going to happen again at some point, or even on a larger scale. I'm so looking forward to it. Hey, just cut out the part where I died. please. And something else you may also notice that is absolutely terrific. The skins are back. I figured it out. I will release a video on how to do it soon. If anyone else is having trouble fixing this problem, it's super duper easy. Problem is you do have to build your skin again if you build it off the marketplace stuff. Also, something else I figured out. I wanted to build a wandering trader farm, and since I've been building this, the entire time that it was flattened out, I'd been sat here and wandering traders just started spawning all around my vicinity. Now, I want to test this on a stream at some point, but I want to see if it has to do with player vicinity or if it's got to do with village and directional, and can it be above, below, left, right, front or forwards? Because it's going to be super duper helpful for developing my own one, which is what I'm trying to do with a lot of these farms. Now, getting on to the rather chilling truth of why we're actually here. The freaking conversion rate for blue ice is stupendous, and I mean absolutely freaking stupendous. I mean, what is this? Do you see how much packed ice went into that? And the ice to make the packed ice. It is freaking stupendous. You're going to hear me saying that a lot, to be honest. Now, obviously, to compete with said horrific accounts of ice conversion, I've also got to go ahead and be stupidly, stupendous, crazily mad, super mega massive, crazy mads, all the words you can freaking think of to build an industrial, super mega massive omega ice farm of ominous proportion and stupendial. But tell me, would you be surprised if it's already been done? Yes now, so I guess you could say this was the same level of pain as the planes for this thing. I guess you could also say that I binged the entire of Rick and Morty while building this thing. That's just a unit of measurement for you. Work out yourself. It is utter pain and torment. And like I said before, I probably will do something like this again. And I already have something lined up, for God's sake. I can't stop myself. There is something wrong. Now, getting back to the farm, this is based off a design by Impulse SV, I believe from Hermitcraft 6. It's adapted into Bedrock, and with the new version, I've got a couple of updates I want to add to it as well on the corners, such as refueling and storage, to the actual village itself, which I think would be rather cool because it will give it an actual use. Now, the only problem I have is something called stick drift, which is where the controller slides across the screen by itself. For me, it goes to the left, but because the water goes to the right, it's really irritating when you're trying to go over the ice. I have now switched to a different controller though, so it allows me to do it. Now, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see a tutorial for this thing at some point, because it would be ecstatic, it'd be a bit painful, but quite easy to build, to be honest. It looks hard, but it's quite easy. It's actually also quite fun because it reminds me of those coconut things where they go up and down and down and down and down, because you actually get pushed by the water down like this sort of staircase, which essentially just uses gravity and physics. And so to cope with the stupendous conversion rate of ice, we've built a stupendously big ice farm. But yes, as I mentioned, there is something else that I want to do now, which is super mega massive. That's right, the leather farm is coming into play in the form of a Lamaka rabbit. Now you may be wondering, what is this mysterious being or creature that you speak of? Well, let me explain. Said creature is a mixed amalgamation of a llama, a cow, and a rabbit, almost as if fused together by a twisted taxidermist. The perfect creature for providing various accounts of leather, and so it shall be built to house such animals for breeding, killing, and sourcing of such materials. And with a tad bit of wool and a little bit of string, I'm sure we can arrange such a thing.
5 minutes later.
Ha 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 ha! Now you see my creation. It is finally finished. It is even more beautiful than the monster Frankenstein. C'est magnifique! So I may have gone way over, way over my head when building this thing. I may have forgotten to record and then kind of just went on, kept going and going and going. It was quite fun actually. Got some really cool designs out of it. But I feel like you guys kind of deserve a tour. Again, went way over my head, so expect a lot. And so if we enter through said mouth, we come into the first chamber. And this is going to be storage at some point for one of the farms, probably rabbits, and probably all of them. You do get indoor snow and rain, which is quite cool. You've also got a lovely chandelier with a couple pillars here and there. Also down these stairs we have access to a pen, you can see there from both sides. And then coming down this ladder, you'll see a quite common theme. I tried to stick with brown quite a lot due to the colour of the actual animal itself, only using spruce wood in all its variation and forms. Coming over this way though is a yet to be lit portal, which will actually link this whole thing up to the Nether hub, allowing easy access for us here and there. And then after coming down the stairs, you may see some pens on the left and right of me, and the front and the back of the animal. Down the front we can have the llamas, and then down the back we can have the cows, because I'm also going to put an udder in underneath just to, well, kind of signify that this is a llama rabbit. The only thing I've really got to represent the cow right now is the rag that sits on the back, which is sort of cow themed colours. And coming up this way we finally have the back exit / entrance. The idea is you're meant to get swallowed and then pooped out by a llama. Rabbit. Everything is perfectly lit up, which means no monster spawnage, and I also have glass floors in a couple places just let a bit of extra light in, also I can see everything that's going on down and around me. Now obviously for anyone curious about how said butt works, there is a tail in the way which hides the hole, and you just drop out the back with seamless intervention. But we digress. As some of you may have noticed, or some of you may have missed, there weren't actually any animals in the pens, which is our next hefty task. I don't know why I make myself do this. Oh, this is gonna be hurtful. This is gonna be pain. Oh, it may look easy with scaffolding and leads, but this is gonna be freaking torture. But in essentially the idea is kind of leash these guys, jump up a couple of blocks, and then basically drag them up by the neck, essentially hang them up the scaffolding without killing them obviously, and then chuck them in the hole, block it off, and start breeding them. And then same with the rabbits and the cows. Now, I'm going to be honest, after this experience, rabbits are one of the most hated and disliked mobs in the game for me ever. They are one of the absolute worst pains to transport, and that's up there with villagers and witches, which are my two most annoyed mobs in the game. But after so much hard work, pain and torment, I can finally relinquish and relax knowing that the farm is done and I will never have to deal with it again. Apart from the fact that I do have to breed them and kind of kill them and slaughter them for their resources. But at last, what you should now see is that I've marked off each one of these that I've done today. Ice, leather, rabbits, and llama. I guess llamas kind of come under leather. But so what? I'm genuinely over the moon that I've got this done. Honestly, I think this is one of the biggest projects that have been there already. And this actually goes to another massive project. So I guess we're falling into the big things now, especially with gargantuan stature and the ensuing projects which stays behind the scenes. For now though, I think I'm going to stick around here for a bit. You know, expand the farms, get some more sugarcane for said behind the scenes projects, and I will see you all very, very soon. Come on, don't mess this up. Oh, let's do it. Yes! Anyway, yes, come back to the point. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all once again very, very, very soon. Hopefully at a shorter time this time. This obviously took longer as the massive projects that were ensuing in this video, and I can't wait to see where we go next with all the other stuff. It's going to be really exciting, and to be honest, just have a good one. One more thing before we go, if you want to, feel free to check out my socials and my Twitch. I do a couple of streams over there, and it's also going to be the place for said format, which I will pop up on the screen now.